Hi again, everybody. We're now going to work on another really important skill, and it's something called digraphs. And digraphs are a strategy that you can use to help you read and write words when you hear a specific sound. Well, what's a digraph, you ask? Let me tell you. A digraph is when two or three consonants come together to make a totally new sound. For example, you see right here that the S and H come together. Think about our sound card and how there's a picture of a shell. At the beginning of shell, we hear the sound shh. And a digraph is exactly that. It no longer says s and h, right? It's not a sound we hear. Instead, it says shh. So we're going to work on being able to read and write words that have beginning and ending digraphs. Right here, the CH, the SH, the TH, and the WH are the most common digraphs. They're not the only ones, though. But to help us remember, I have a little story to tell you. And it's a story about Mr. H and his 4 girlfriends. So let's see if this story can help us remember the different sounds that these digraphs make. And it's kind of silly. All right, so once upon a time, there was Mr. H, and he by himself said, ha, ha, ha. Well, Mr. H had 4 girlfriends. He had Miss S, who said S, Miss C, who said k, 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 Miss T, who says t, 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 and Miss W, who says wh, wh, wh. Well, that's when they're by themselves. But then Mr. H started to take them out. And he first went out with Miss S. And when S and H were together, they liked to go to the library because they loved to read. But the problem was, every time Mr. H wanted to tell her anything, she would look at him and go, shh. He would start to talk and she'd go, shh. Hey, but shh. Hey, but shh. He never got a word in edgewise because Mrs. S really wanted to focus on reading. So they could never talk. So anytime the S and the H are together, they say, shh, like in the library or like in the beginning of shell. Well, Mr. H had a lot of fun with Mr. H had a lot of fun with Miss H, but he had some other friends too. So his next friend we're going to talk about is Miss C. And Miss C by herself says k, 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 like cat, right? But when Mr. H and Miss C got together, they were out in the rain and they got soaking wet and they got a cold. And every time they saw each other, they'd start to sneeze. Do you hear that sound at the beginning? That's right, just like at the beginning of chair. So they had to stop hanging out because it seemed like they were allergic to one another or had a really bad case of the sniffles every time. But when you see a C and H together, most of the time they say ch. All right, so Mr. H was like, well, let's see what other friends I can meet. And he came along Miss T. Miss T by herself says t, t, t. But when H came around, they'd start to get in a lot of fights. For no reason, I don't really know. They just didn't get along very well. And so they would stick their tongue out at each other and go, you try it. So anytime your tongue goes in between your teeth and you hear that or sound, it's the T and the H getting mad at each other. I would like to tell you both there are better ways to solve conflicts. Being unkind is not good. I agree. I want to be friends. Okay. Oh no, what trouble. So think about in thumb or in think. If you hear that sound and your tongue goes between your teeth, that's what's happening. The T and the H say. All right, well, Mr. H wanted to give it a go with one more friend. And so he met Miss W. Well, here's the thing. W by herself just had a lot of questions and just said, wh, wh, wh. And so when H came around, he also never got a chance to talk because Miss W just kept asking questions. What's your name? What's your favorite thing to do? Where do you live? And every time they got together, they would just hear the sound wh, wh for all the questions, like at the beginning of whale or when, what, where are you going, right? So Miss W did all the talking and he never got a chance to answer. So when W and H are together, he's completely silent and you just hear whoop. So this story will hopefully help you remember all the silly ways that we can make a digraph using H. So let's practice. Okay, so now I'm going to say a word and I want you to tap out the word to hear the digraph, right? And here are the four we're practicing. And actually, we're not even going to practice W and H right now because CH, TH, and SH are the most important to learn first. So I have a picture of ship. Fingers up, and we're going to tap it out. Ready? Sh, I, p. What did you hear at the beginning? Yeah, shh. So that was Mr. H and Miss S together, right? Saying that sh sound like in shell. Let's try another. Chip. Ready? Fingers up. Ch, I, p. What did you hear? That's right. Ch, ch, ch. The C and the H make that. Okay, so now you guys are going to pause me and you're going to practice hearing all of those sounds and tapping it out and seeing, does it come at the beginning, at the end, and which two letters make that sound? All right, see you in a second. All right, by now you've done shark and thumb and chin. Now it's time to practice writing again. So hopefully you still have your writing board, your whiteboard, sorry, or your cereal box or your magical ink from water, whatever you're using. Okay, and now let's practice. Same pictures as before, but this time we're going to tap it out to hear it, check the sound card, and write it. Okay, so there it was again. Ship, fingers up, sh, I, p. It's the same thing. I could even put this back in the roller coaster to help me. Ready? Sh, I, p. That'll help me make sure I hear all the sounds. So I heard that shh, right? That's the S and the H, so I'd write shh. Put it back in. What's that middle sound? Shh, I, oh, I. And the ending sound, sh, I, p, p, p. P for pig. Ship. Okay? Now you try it with all the other words. All right, now you've done chip and Thor and fish and all these other friends. Now we're going to practice reading them as well. So when you get to these words, you're going to notice that for now, the digraph is underlined. That's going to help you really target that sound. And I realize now I should have put the sound card on there so that you have it. I'll do that here so you know what I'm talking about. All right, so if I come back up here, I want this on every one so that you have a reference to help you. Okay, because we're still learning, right? Okay, so here it is. All right, so I see that S and H is highlighted. So I'm going to find it on my sound card, and that's that sh sound. Sh, ip, ship, right? And I'm going to do that for every single one. Ross is going to say, read it or call on you to take a turn, and then everybody's going to do it. So I see the CH, ch, I, n. Now, not all of these words are words that you practiced on your pictures, right? Here's one that there's not a picture of. I see the TH. I'm going to put my tongue between my teeth. At that. And remember, sometimes the TH is a soft sound like thumb, and sometimes it's hard like that. So it's just taking time to practice. If one doesn't sound right, try it the other way. Okay, that was a lot. You guys are going to work on this each day. And so each day it'll get easier and easier because you'll have more practice. And then it's a strategy that can help you in your reading and writing because these digraphs are everywhere. And then I also put down here some songs. And Ross, there's a lot more that you can look for on YouTube or other places, but these are a good start. All right, thanks for reading with me today, and I hope that you do a great job with digraphs. Can't wait to see what you guys are working on next.